Steve Schwarzman is one of the kings of private equity. He's the chairman, CEO, and co-founder of the Blackstone Group, and he's been an outspoken critic of the Obama administration's tax policies. I spoke to him yesterday at a special event organized by UBS Wealth Management, and I asked what's at stake in this year's election and what he's particularly worried about.
What I worry about is, we've had a variety of moves, to the left, and almost a questioning of the system, and we've got a lot of unhappy, angry people in society who have a right to be unhappy and angry. But as we direct that anger to different segments of society, we start getting behavior which interferes with an economic recovery. And my own sense is we have to find a way to have more harmony in the society and more balance so that we can go ahead and address the kind of problems that are affecting the country.
There is an income gap that is widening tremendously right now, and we have seen a lot of the rhetoric sort of move in that, the haves versus have-nots. But changing the tone there, do you think that with this administration that there is an understanding of the capital markets and of job creation and of some of the issues that other people in the business community are seeing?
Well, Tim Geithner is a really smart person, and Tim understands, all these issues. I think for a variety of reasons, the current administration got off on a different tack, and I don't know that I would have chosen health care as the first issue to occupy a year with the kind of economic issues that were facing us. And now, they've had to cycle back, and it probably strategically, and it's always easier to look backwards. I absolutely felt that way at the time, however, that, the economic issues facing the country were issues number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and until you really address those and get the economy moving, it's very difficult to deal with other issues.
We just came through this very heavy legislative process for the past 2 years. I mean, you talked about health care there. Some say the next 2 are going to be about regulation and figuring out the legislation, exactly what was signed into law. With financial reform, the Dodd-Frank bill, the heavy lifting's done.
No.
To some extent in terms of writing it. Figuring it out is the challenge now.
Right.
So explain to me how you think that the environment is going to change. The most obvious one is the Volcker rule, right? And we've seen KKR out there buying proprietary traders to come over from Goldman Sachs. I mean, what is actually changing in the landscape for you?
Well, you have, a variety of changes in both Dodd-Frank and also Basel III. Don't underestimate Basel III and the needs for a lot more capital and the way that changes the extension of credit in the banking system and where we'll create stronger financial institutions in Asia. The U.S., sort of in second position, and Europe in third. There are going to be a lot of those changes. You've got something like Volcker and what happens with not just prop trading, but with their alternative asset businesses in the commercial banking system, which to some degree I think we will be a beneficiary. There'll be less people in those businesses. It'll give us the opportunity not only to start new products, but also to purchase different groups. But I think we can't underestimate the number of issues that are not resolved. So when we talk about heavy lifting, I believe there are 70 studies that are going on now with the expectation of 200 regulations, which can take the financial system in a lot of odd positions.
Well, the obvious overhang, it's Fannie and Freddie still in conservatorship and not having been dealt with.
That's not even part of Dodd-Frank. And so until these type of rules and tax policy is determined, the system is really not quite frozen, but people's desire to take normal levels of risk, to get normal levels of outcome, has really been interfered with. Now, some of this is necessary because you needed to reform elements of the financial system. But as you think about it, I mean, this crisis really started in July of '07 when credit started shrinking up. And it looks like, you know, we've got another 2 years to go. So it's going to be a 5-year run of odd things happening, imposing themselves on the economy, which itself went off the rails. So this is a long time to have a normal function economy.
It sounds like what you're saying is that the regulation to come and the legislation that's being figured out is in some ways elongating the recession, though we're technically out of one.
Right, I think that's absolutely the case. There's no doubt about that.
So do you think we are still in a recession, even though the economic indicators would officially say we're not? We're out?
What I was responding to is it's going to prolong a slower growth period, and it's going to depress the level of recovery. We should not be in a 1 to 2% recovery now. We should be sort of somewhere at 3.5 to 5.